Welcome to the SDA Plugin Debug video. Today we're going to look at how SDA stores plugins on the SDA server. We'll take a quick look at the Groovy language that's used to write plugins, and we'll also look at how we can interrogate and look under the covers at a plugin already installed on the SDA server. So typically, to look at what plugins are available on the SDA server, we go to Administration, Automation Plugins, and here we can see all the plugins that are available on the SDA server. Plugins typically will be driven by the Groovy code. Now, Groovy itself is its own scripting language based on JavaScript, and it might be worth taking a look at learning how you can write your own plugins. And to do that, you will need to have some knowledge of the Groovy scripting language. And a great place to start is the groovy.codehouse.org webpage, where you can download Groovy, and there are some great tutorials, specifically the Getting Started tutorial and various documentation and examples that can be used to create your own Groovy scripts. So as mentioned before, SDA has its own set of plugins already installed, and we might want to take a look at those plugins themselves. How can we take a look, for example, at the File Utils plugin? If we click on the File Utils plugin, we can see here that the File Utils plugin consists of a series of commands that can be called as process steps. So for example, we have the create directories command. How could we possibly use that within our own plugin? Well, to do that, we can actually take a look at our SDA server. Now, if you've installed SDA, say on Windows as the administrator user, you typically go under C:users administrator. You'll find a .serena directory, an RA directory under there, and then if we go into the var directory, you'll see there's a plugins directory as well. We'll go into command, repo, and here we can see all the plugins that are currently available on the SDA server. And we wanted to look at the File Utils plugin. So here it is, the File Utils plugin. We're just going to copy that zip file out to a different location because we don't want to look at it directly on the server. So I'm just going to copy it out to my C temp directory. And now I can just access the plugin, and here we can see there's a series of .groovy files, and the one we wanted to look at in particular was the create directory plugin step, and here's the create directory groovy file, and here we can actually see the code that's being used to create a directory using Groovy through a plugin. Here, this initial code describes how we can read off some properties, and here we can see it's storing some properties in a variable called dir, and here we can see that basically a loop has been set up to read each line of that dir, and here is the heart of the plugin: create this new directory. So here we can see it's using a method called canonical file mkdirs. So if we wanted to maybe use this code within our own plugin, we could reference this code that's already available within the File Utils plugin. There are of course lots of plugins that are available, and it's great to be able to look at the way plugins have been developed and the way that the code works, and may give you an idea of how a plugin works and how you can develop your own plugins, or maybe debug an existing plugin. This concludes the video for debugging plugins. For further information, you may want to go to the plugin Getting Started video available on KBTV. On the knowledge base, there's a document that will be describing how you can create your own plugins.